You want to hear something absolutely insane? Only 5% of clothing brands will ever make it to $1 million per year. So I'm going to show you the literal blueprint that clothing brands are using right now, the exact blueprint that we used to make $70 million last year alone. And real quickly, just kind of check these out so you know this is legitimate. Here is a store, $4 million last year. Here is a store, $2.6 million last year. Here's another store, $2 million last year. Here's a store, $1.4 million last year. Here is another store of $1.7 million last year. So I made this video for our community last week, and the only thing that I captioned it was, is this you? And I want you to pay attention to this video as well, because this is number one. And I told them that I was finishing up a book. It's called Main Street Millionaire. You should check it out. It's really good. I suggest check her out. Cody Sanchez. But it mentioned an old proverb. Maybe it's from Europe. I don't remember exactly where it's at. But it went something like this: those who chase two rabbits catches none. And to me, this is crucial because trying to have clear messaging for two different people is hard to do. Possible, but way more work and ultimately slows you down. And just like the brands that I just showed you on the screen, all of them did one thing really well to get to their first 7 figures, and that was to be laser focused. So this is the framework that I've used to create clear messaging and help people understand their target audience. They need to be customer-centric with their messaging. So focus on solving an actual customer pain point and fulfilling that desire by emphasizing the benefits instead of features. So looking stylish while saving the planet. There's a benefit there for them. Now I'm gonna share screen, I'm gonna walk through a lot of this stuff, but I also just forgot to say, hey, this is number one. We're not even gonna go back to it. But that is number one. I'm gonna write this all out too. I'm gonna share screen, I'm gonna write on the whiteboard. I'm gonna lay this out for you guys. The second part of this is the strong brand voice. So developing a consistent tone that reflects your brand's personality, whether it's bold, luxurious, or approachable, and then you adapt it for the different platforms. Storytelling and social media is number 3 here, right? So using relatable stories, testimonials, data-driven claims to build trust and emotion that connects with your audience. That is what messaging is all about. To me, that's just a little bit of jargon. There's a little bit of words here, and I'm like, okay, I know this because I've said it, but let's actually jump into this because I think the specifics matter here a lot more than anything else. And so the best way that I have learned to create good, clear messaging is to understand who the audience is so that you can talk directly to them. We do that through what's called our customer avatar. And this is a document that we continue to update, but we labeled it as our struggling avatar because essentially, like I mentioned in this first part here of the messaging, you got to focus on the actual problem. Here lies the issue with clothing brand owners is that they don't think that they're actually solving a problem. For example, we get these guys who have created personal brands that have streetwear that send a bunch of people to their Instagram, boost posts, and tell you to use this interest targeting to run ads and then get people to profile visits and join your email list and SMS. But what they forget to tell you is that they built that because they had a good personal brand, not because the brand was actually good or that those strategies actually even work. You did 20, 30, 50, $100,000 drops. Well, guess what? They had large followings otherwise. What you can do is create a real brand with strong foundational pieces, and it doesn't matter if you're a boutique or a streetwear brand or your own private label. If you build these pieces together, you will cut through the noise. Otherwise, you're going to keep copying the same people's strategies that worked in 2020 when everybody was on the internet and was not actually going out, and so it was very easy to win. We are way past the 2020 times, and the strategies that previously worked no longer work now. So I'm sharing the screen right here. You need to define who your struggling avatar is. And I look at this as kind of like a stage of, or more so like a 1, 2, 3, if you will. The first thing we have to go through, or the phase, if you will, that goes on is stage or phase 1 is the struggling avatar. Struggling avatar is the problem that we start with, and I'll explain it. I'm gonna share a screen with you guys here. And then we go to stage 2 and stage 3. Most people miss stage 1 and then they go to stage 2 and stage 3, and then the problem lies that you don't know the actual problem that you're solving for this customer. Here's a couple of questions, and like I said, we're always constantly trying to figure out what it is that we need to do to make this document better or this information better. It doesn't matter about AI or using ChatGPT or creating your own version of this. If you don't have the, let's just say, the knowing side of things to make this work, then it is just strictly knowledge. And so you're gaining knowledge, but you don't have the knowing. Knowing is done by doing. And so just asking ChatGPT to give you this struggling avatar document won't actually mean anything without context. There's a couple of things that we want to ask here. What are your core values, your identities, your experience, your knowing, your past struggles? You realize that you are the actual avatar. Now, the questions go really in depth to naming the actual person or who is the struggling avatar. And you may be saying, wait, how does this have to do with making $70 million in a year or making millions of dollars? A lot, okay? And I want to clarify this because if we can get through this piece right here, the rest of this video is going to make a lot more sense for you. Thank you for sticking around so far because I know this is a little beefy and I want to explain it as clearly as possible. So you have a struggling avatar, then you have what's called the unique solution. So the unique solution is the product that you bring to the marketplace. Maybe you're a brand that is focused on sustainability, or maybe you're a brand that's like, look, I want to protect people from the sun. So these are all SPF or UPF, correct me if I'm wrong there on the actual terminology here, but it protects you from the sun. Or maybe the problem is that no tunic dress has, an underlying underneath the dress that stops it from blowing up or whatever that may be, right? So that could be an actual problem. Or maybe there's not enough color. We had a program member and she created a bra that was for large busted women, but there's tons of bras out there. But this was a sports bra, so you could actually jump, you could run, you could do all of these things and not have all of this problem. And it wasn't like those ones that look like a belt where it's like super like utilitarian and it's got a lot of work. It was actually a seamless bra. It made a lot of sense and it was focused on a very specific model of person that they were going after. The next piece that we're going to talk about is how do you get to the revenue there, but they had an actual problem. She offered a unique solution. And then what everybody wants otherwise is that future pace hero. What is their life going to be like afterwards? So have documents for those as well. So this is the unique solution. Your unique solution is your actual product. And I tend to not go off of like an actual collection, if you will. I tend to go off of what is the unique solution that your brand provides with your product line. There's just questions here to break down, okay, what is the struggling avatar? What are the steps to take this person from the problem to the actual solution? And you are the solution. You should be inserting yourself as the solution. And then you have what's called a future-paced hero. You can label this however you'd like, but basically, what is life like afterwards? So going back to our example, the women who were frustrated with Nike bras or Adidas bras or buying these huge like utilitarian bras that just like either rubbed them wrong or they had side leakage or whatever else, those are all problems. Well, what is life like afterwards? Well, after you purchase this unique solution here, what's going to happen is that you can actually go for a run, you can work out around friends, you can go to group classes, you don't have to be embarrassed about certain things. Like now you can start to focus on the mass desire, which is another part of this video. We can hit on the things that actually matter most for these people. When you're building a brand, a lot of times I think people complicate it, but at the end of the day, if you got nothing from this video, is that you should have very clear messaging of who you're going after, and you're only able to do that if you actually know who your audience is. If you guys like this type of video, I would really like to know, just tell me down in the comments and I will create more videos around messaging and we can go deeper here. But I also like this struggling avatar document. If you want this and you're trying to figure it out for your brand, just comment the word avatar down below and we will send that over to you. Thomas Watson, the guy who more so founded IBM, I guess he's more famously quoted, or this quote is more famously known by Henry Ford, which I guess he didn't really say it, says, "Nothing happens until someone sells something." And I agree with that completely. Now, in clothing, it is no different. No one buys anything unless they believe in the value they are going to receive is higher than the amount they are going to have to pay. So what is the value that you have to pay for something? And it's like, well, that's a great deal. I mean, if I gave you a Louis Vuitton bag and I said this was $50, one, you would question it, but you're like, that's a steal, I will pay that price. The value is much higher than the actual price perceived. Now let me show you the tools you need to put in place to guarantee you are adding more value than your competition so that you can actually generate more revenue. But first, I just wanted to say a quick hey, howdy, and hello. I'm Aaron, one of the co-founders here at Bit Branding, and alongside my business partner, Christian, I focus on helping clothing brands with their messaging and their ads, paid ads, Instagram, Facebook, the paid ad side of things, and then Christian focuses on Shopify, the apps, website side of things. In the last 12 months, we've helped over 300 clothing brands grow online, and I would really appreciate it if you've gotten any value in this video so far. Just please give us a nice little like and subscribe. It is free, and if you do this in the next 3 seconds, I'll share with you one of the most popular trends in the 2000s that have seemingly went away overnight. If you were around in the 2000s at all, you saw on every single person's hand, or wrist if you will, a Live Strong bracelet that basically went away overnight. We won't get into the details of why, but if you were around or alive during those times, you probably had a yellow bracelet that said Live Strong. All right, so number 2 is the clothing offer equation. And I have mentioned this before, but I think anything that is mentioned more than once or is important is worth mentioning again. And if this is your first time, please make sure to grab something to take notes with. And you can also just comment the word clothing and I will send you this equation. But it's very simple. Don't worry, we're not going back to math, in school. So for those of you who hated math, but this is very important for you to actually grow your business. Okay, so the value equation is very simple. I'm gonna explain what these are, and it's not just jargon, it actually aligns with your clothing brand. And as you adjust to these numbers, your value will increase. Obviously for this, we want this number to go up, and we want this number to go down. Let me explain these a little bit first. So S is for style aspirations. Now, remember when we talked about the actual customer? If you know your customer, you'll know their style aspirations. Are they a Gen Z trying to impress friends right now? Are they a streetwear brand? Are they a boutique? Are they like the example I mentioned earlier where they are a large busted woman and their style aspirations are like, look, I just want a cool color, or I just want this, I want a black or a white bra that just doesn't have any of these problems. What? That may be their style aspirations. That's huge factor here. If you're talking to the right person, much easier to do. QF is quality and fit. The best way to do this is to show visuals, okay? I need to know whether or not this is like a 4-way stretch. I need to know whether or not this is durable. Or for example, if the problem is that there's actual, like, let's just say that the bras don't fit correctly, I would do like an us versus them and show their bra not fitting correctly and then my bra fitting correctly. I would show it like going through the wash. I would show it like being stretched. I would show it like in action so I can see that the quality is there. This is a huge factor. If you don't have good style aspirations about what's going on, or you don't have a good quality and fit, then very difficult to beat the numbers down here. Now, let me explain here about how you want to decrease these, or what are these and what these represent here. So W, probably the biggest reason, one of the biggest reasons somebody doesn't buy, this is the waiting period. What is the total time from somebody who purchases today to actually when they receive the product and they can enjoy it? Right, we get like this dopamine hit as soon as we make the purchase, but then after that we wait. But before we can even make the purchase, if I'm looking at something, let's say I'm going back to that bra and I'm like, this is great, style aspirations, good quality and fit, but this tells me I'm gonna wait 15 days. Now, there may be nothing like that on the market, but for most people, that's way too long. 0 to 3 days for, like, I would say processing, shipping, handling, receiving, that's like a 10 out of 10. 3 to 5 days is kind of like that normal range. If you are that 6 to 7 day range, probably okay. 8 to 15 days, and you're now running into a window where this W is absolutely destroying your overall value equations. Like, this is a great bra, but it's not worth it for me to wait for 2 weeks. Or, hey, this is a great shirt. I'm gonna buy one for this, for the Super Bowl, okay? If you're getting ready to cheer for somebody for the Super Bowl, which is top of mind when I'm recording this. If you're gonna cheer for somebody in the Super Bowl, but it's 3 weeks away till you're actually gonna receive it, and the Super Bowl is actually in 2 weeks, doesn't matter. You're gonna lose the actual sale. So SF is shopping friction. A couple of things for the shopping friction. This could be checkout complexity. This could be the site speed. This could also be return policy. A lot of people don't have a good return policy. They just copy and paste something. I need to know that if the quality and fit isn't really what I don't know, but it's good enough, I'm okay with buying it knowing that this may not fit correctly if the shopping experience right here, if the shopping friction makes sense, return policy says, hey, look, try it out for 14 days, 30 days, return it. I'll pay for shipping as the business, not the customer. That's gonna get me to make a purchase a lot faster. We want to adjust that. The PS, this is the price sensitivity. So price sensitivity, you wanna look at the marketplace, okay? If there is nothing like this bra ever, well then you don't have anything to go off of other than regular bras. So if regular bras are going for $40 and this one's $60, there may be some price sensitivity. But if the style aspirations and the quality fit are higher and the waiting time is low and the shopping friction is low, then this price sensitivity kind of goes away. It's like, do I got some wiggle room here? Will I pay $60 for something that's super high quality and it's gonna solve my actual problem? Going back to the problem here. You have to plug in your business for each one of these areas. Be very objective. And I actually have like I said, like kind of a spreadsheet to kind of put some numbers behind this so you know which area of your business to approach. But just like I mentioned at the beginning of this section, the video is that nothing happens until somebody sells something. And you can never make somebody buy anything, but they will never feel comfortable buying something if there's not value. You have to increase this number here and decrease this number here. If you do that, you will make sales. If you do not, you will not make sales. It's simple as that. You doing some kind of TikTok dance or TikTok video will give you awareness. Maybe you'll make some purchases. But to scale a clothing brand past just these influx of sales or inconsistencies, maybe that's you, right? Maybe you're getting some sales as you do videos or you create content or you run ads, but you have this ebb and flow. You don't have anything that's kind of stable and continuing to go up and to the right. And if that's you, you're probably lacking in one of these areas here, the value or understanding who your actual audience is. All right, so number 3 is very simple, okay? This is more so around the organic side of things or basically not putting money behind it. Now to clarify, I don't believe there's any difference between organic and paid other than the fact that you put money behind the actual ads and a little bit more of a hook to sell somebody. Brand narrative, okay? So I'm gonna rattle these off here. There's basically 5 main things here with the organic side. Now, brand narrative, highlight the why behind the brand, sustainability, empowerment, craftsmanship. Those are most important. Number 2 here, customer stories. Showcase how the product fits into real lives, testimonials, and user-generated content. High quality visuals and videos. Professional photo shoots needed? No, not necessarily. Potentially, there's a chance. Depending on if you're a higher end brand, you should definitely do a professional photo shoot. If you're not, it's okay too. You can get a nice iPhone video. You can get some nice iPhone photos. The lighting matters a lot here. But videos that align with your brand's aesthetic. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, they're used for short, engaging content, product styling tips, behind the scenes, manufacturing, all important. And we have a kind of like an inspiration, if you will, over here on what's called a foreplay board. And I'll just show you real quickly. So here are some examples of some videos that I got already. Just different hooks, different examples, UGC, different styles of formatting. Honestly, you just comment the word foreplay down below. I'll send you over this link and we update this multiple times throughout the week, if not daily. This next part here, platform specific strategy. So Instagram, curated grid, doesn't matter, not as much. Stories are for daily engagement. They're more so for nurturing the relationship. Reels are the best way, trending reels, just like I explained here, are the best way to reach more people. Instagram, keep your reels to like less than 90 seconds. TikTok, on the other hand, have the ability to go viral. They want longer form content, so in the evening doing those 3, 4, 5 minute clips, much better. They actually enjoy those a lot. And fun to appeal to a younger audience, but although we are aging up quite a bit on the TikTok side of things as well. YouTube, you can focus on tutorials, interviews, mini docuseries. I know one of our brand owners, what she's doing now is interviewing influential people or influential women because she does know her struggling avatar and she's speaking directly to these people, and so created a podcast that is now garnering attention and is driving people to her actual brand. Influencer and collaboration content with partner with people like micro-influencers or other people to create UGC, or other brands who may be in a similar niche serving a different demographic. Those are also an option. And then I would say probably this last piece, being consistent. Publishing schedule, maintaining a reliable content calendar. We do give a free content calendar to all of our program members, just to kind of have a framework of what to go off of. But having an actual calendar versus just waking up and like, well, I got to post today, and you have no clue. You spend an endless amount of time scrolling through and say, oh, I got an idea. Then you spend an hour or two creating content. That is not the way to do this. The most important part to growing a brand to me is not only the paid advertising side of things, but it's also the lifetime value. So I'm going to combine these two things together. I'm going to explain to you how to use the paid advertising and to create an LTV or a retention mechanism for your business. But first, hold up just 1 second. I just want to say that, hey, if you're a clothing brand owner, boutique, private label, streetwear, it doesn't matter, and you want to jump into the specifics of your brand and how to grow it profitably online, look, most of you guys are like, look, I want to leave my job or I want to scale this brand. Okay, you want to get to your first $1 million month, or you want to just start the brand. If you would like to schedule a free 45-minute strategy session, you can do that. All you need to do is grab a link in the description down below. There are limited spots, obviously, so check out the link in the description down below while you still can. All right, so like I mentioned, number 4 is lifetime value. What does that mean? That is the amount of money that a customer is worth to you over the lifetime that they are around. And customers churn, or they no longer exist or no longer buy from you. So in an average time span, how much money do you make from that person? So the email marketing is pretty straightforward. Email marketing, you need to use personalized email flows like welcome sequences. On average, if you get 100 people on the email flow, you're going to get about 10 people to actually purchase. 10% of the people who join your email flow will make a purchase. If you do not have that set up yet, please make sure that you do. Please also make sure that you have the post-purchase follow-ups and the win-back campaigns to nurture these customers, and focus on exclusive offers, loyalty, rewards, valuable content, styling tips to keep your audience engaged and feeling special. It's not just about the sales. And the other part of this, so I look at email as like the profit mechanism. The total revenue mechanism is that SMS strategy. So send timely conversations for messages, for product launches, restocks, or flash sales, leveraging SMS for VIP customers, early access, personalized discounts to create exclusivity and urgency. Now, with these two, I will tell you, email, if you have over 1,000 people, I'd be sending about 2 to 3 emails per week. SMS, if you have, I would say 300 to 400 people, I'd be sending about 1 to 2 max SMS per week. This third area to help with LTV is a tool called retention.com. On average, we are getting a 6x across all of the brands that we work with. So if they spend $1, they make 6. If you don't have 10,000 people to your homepage per month, don't worry about retention. When you get there, absolutely check it out. You know, there is a link in the description down below, and I believe they will hook you up with a deal. But don't worry about it if you're not getting 10,000 people to your homepage per month. The math does not make sense. But once you do, it really starts to make sense. What this does, for those who are wondering, retention will grab all of the emails of people who didn't sign up for anything and put them into a list for you, for example, on Klaviyo, and you can start to nurture that group of people so that you can continue to grow your email list. Again, doesn't make sense unless you have the actual traffic, but basically captures anonymous website visitors. Loyalty and rewards programs. So offer points or purchases. There's some software out there. Honestly, that's probably a good recommendation from like Christian side of things, but there are tons of reward systems out there. We don't directly suggest anyone in particular. A lot of times our clients already have something. It's just a matter of actually using it, right? Whether you're using Beans or you use something else, make sure that you offer a loyalty or rewards program. Every single brand that I mentioned here has some level of loyalty or rewards program set up in place, or have something for referrals, or if they do social engagement for that customer, they give them some kind of perk. They either highlight them or give them a dollar amount, but whatever you do, set something else up like that. But that group of people who are going after the rewards, it's just going to increase the frequency at which they purchase. All right, so this next one here is community engagement, building a strong brand community via social media. Some people do it on Telegram, they do it on Facebook groups, some do it on Instagram DM groups, or they have broadcast channels now. Not everybody has broadcast channels, but you do have an option for that. UGC campaigns or events, You can do some stuff offline. We used to have a lot of brands, boutiques specifically, do like customer appreciation events, and those did really well. So they would either do like a Super Bowl party, or they would do like a Halloween event or Christmas event and bring people in and have food, just community and just bringing people together. Obviously, if you're online, all of your customers are not in one spot, so may not be viable there, but maybe you could do something online and bring people into the community and just add value. What does your struggling avatar care about? Maybe they're, don't want to continue to age, so you bring in somebody who's like a beauty consultant, whatever. But you're continuing to add value to those people. That is how you increase the lifetime value. Now, this last one is one that I guess, I've gotten several comments on here because a lot of people don't really like this piece, but it's that live selling factor. So live social selling, we're fans of Come and Sold. You can go to comeandsold.com. They also have a version, it's the Shopify app. It's called Video, so VIDEEO. It's a Shopify app. Basically, you can go live on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and sell products. You could sell this marker, you could sell this t-shirt. If you are a streetwear brand, you could drop your latest collection. Somebody picks up their phone and they're watching you live, and then they literally click a button and they can purchase, and they click sold 102, it charges their card, you move on. Very effective way to increase the lifetime value of your customer. Unfortunately, this almost increases your returning customer rate so much that you have to spend even more on this next part of the business. And this is where every single brand owner on here is doing this next piece. They are absolutely spending probably the majority of their time and effort on this. It's the sexy part of the business, if you will. And if you don't get it done correctly, there's no way you're making millions of dollars, at least consistently. So this last one here, number 5, is paid traffic. And every single brand that I've ever worked with that has hit 7-figure mark, like I mentioned, has mastered paid ads. So here's what to focus on. Pick one platform to advertise on and test multiple creative types. I suggest for you to be on Meta, right? Facebook and Instagram, just as a clothing brand owner. Eventually, you could do some other things, other places, but there is nothing that says you have to be on multiple places. If anything, if you're not spending thousands of dollars a day, there's no reason to go outside of that ecosystem right now. What you do need to do, though, is test multiple creative types using a system for turning on and turning off of ads. So for us, we like to turn our ads on Monday, typically around midnight or so, or Monday night, or technically Tuesday morning or so. Turn it on and off ads at the same time every single week, so we have an actual system. If an ad is not performing well, we will turn it off. If an ad is doing well, we will add budget. If we need to add a new creative, we add a new creative on that day as well, just so we have an actual system and timeline for the way that we are doing things. You've got to build a brand and reinvest the profits as you're starting to run ads. Every single one of these brands was less profitable with ads and continued to put money into the brand. And by doing that, they were able to scale even faster. You could take the money out sooner, 100%, but you will grow slower and less stable. Couple of things here though. We are very big fans of one campaign per objective. For example, if you're going for sales and you're selling a new collection drop, that would be one campaign. If for whatever reason you're doing an event and you're just trying to get people to your local location, then that is a separate campaign. If you have a sale period that is going on for, let's say, like 2 weeks, then that is its own campaign. The targeting is broad. The only thing that means or open is age, gender, location. Interest targeting doesn't really matter. The targeting is done through the creative, but you have to understand the levels of marketing awareness and sophistication. I'll explain that here in just one second, but I want to talk through real quickly this content scaling strategy. And if you want this document, just comment the word scaling down below. I'll send it to you. But you want to select your focus, okay? And what is the actual product that you're going after? What is the offer? An offer doesn't have to be a discount. I know on here I mentioned some of these as discounts, but it doesn't have to be. And then you have creative concepts. These all link to different boards, like I mentioned earlier, for foreplay, so you can find examples of benefits and features, or us versus them, or headline graphics, before and after. All of these are examples, and you can do variations of them. So it's essentially endless with the types of creative. The problem is, I was talking to a brand owner. He had a dropshipping brand and had sold it, and then built another brand and then sold it, and now he started a clothing brand. So he's got some money, which is awesome. But when I was talking to him, all he did was create UGC content, UGC content, UGC content. It's like, dude, you're only testing one thing. It's like UGC could be multiple areas. You could do reviews with UGC. However, you're not testing benefits and features. You're not testing us versus them. And so his creative became stale. His audience only saw UGC and then moved off. I'm not saying that that's not effective, but what I am saying is that there are different options. This strategy goes into implementation and kind of what you need to do afterwards. But again, if you want this document, just comment the word scaling below and I will send it to you. So these are the levels of market sophistication. I will just read these off to you. There's basically 5 levels. And like I said, I will read them to you. You can go and look at them. There's many, many books on this. You can look at the stages of awareness and sophistication. I've actually created a document for 5 levels of awareness for clothing brands. And level 1, unaware. So they have no clue exactly who your audience is. They break this down. Level 2, they are problem aware. Maybe they're aware that they do not have a bra that actually fits them, so they're problem aware. Solution aware, knows that there's solutions out there, custom fit, sustainable brands. They know that there's other bras out there, but they just don't know about yours. Level 4, product aware. They know about your product. It's actually deciding between you and somebody else. Any objections? This could be the shipping, right? Shopping friction here, so shipping. Could be testimonials, returns. And then level 5, the most aware. So already likes your brand, possibly added items to your cart and visited multiple times. Marketing goal here, prompt immediate action. Urgency, exclusivity, extra perks it is to get people to take action here. If you want this, I have not given this master marketing blueprint out yet, but if you comment the word blueprint down below, I will send it to you guys. I would say it's probably not even 100% finished yet, but I will have it finished before the end of this. But this is just my thought process as I'm going through this and laid out from the learnings of these brands. Now you guys have the blueprint of what it takes to make millions of dollars per year. Let's drive traffic the right way. Okay, I know I mentioned very quickly on the ad side of things, but you guys really need to go watch this video on exactly how to run Instagrams right here next. All right, y'all, have a great rest of your day. I will see you next time, and P.S., make sure you subscribe.